No, tell me, the front cover of the album.
Yes.
Give me a story about the significance of that and describe it for us.
Well, the album's called Council Skies, and the original idea was to have some shots of some council estates all over the country. And when that became a bit of a tall order, I said, well, let's just do them in Manchester. And then I happened to be up in Manchester one weekend, and I'd never been to where Main Road was since it was demolished. I'd never been there, and we kind of drove past and got to where, and they'd kept the centre circle, and they built a housing estate around it, a council estate, and I thought, this is just amazing, and so I thought, well, we'll shoot it here. And there's an old album cover by Pink Floyd, an album called Gummer, where they've got all their equipment set out in an arty style. And I thought we could marry the two ideas. And it was a funny old day. It was we got there setting up the equipment. There's people coming out of their houses going, "I hope you're not going to be making any bloody noise there."
And then it's you.
And then they see me and they were like, "Are you doing a gig here?" And I was like, "No, I'm just doing a photo shoot." But
does that give you a lot of satisfaction? When you create something like this?
Yeah, well, Main Road is a special place to all City supporters, and when we had to call the council, and Andy Burnham, top man, greased the wheels, and that was it. And it was a beautiful day. We were going up there, and it was poetic. It was Tuesday morning, and there was light drizzle in the air in Manchester. It was a beautiful Manchester morning.
Excellent.
And we were in and out. And it's great. You know, it's Main Road is significant for me on a personal level with the gigs that Oasis did there, and obviously the place where I first went and watched football. You know.
Yeah, we're getting calls coming in from every part of the planet, I've got to say. We mentioned that Noel and his band are heading off to the USA June the 2nd. It all starts at Auburn, near Seattle. The White River Amphitheatre, and there afterwards a huge number of gigs. But Christy is calling in from San Diego. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Very well indeed. Christy, I'm Jim White. Simon Jordan's beside me, but you don't want to talk to us. You want to talk to Noel Gallagher, right?
I actually do. Thank you for having me on. I am the chair of the San Diego branch of the Manchester City Official Supporters Club, and my branch asked me to get up at what is now 4:30 in the morning and try and call in to invite Noel to watch the Champions League final with us, if he would be interested. I don't know if he already has plans, but if he doesn't, he would be more than welcome to join us at our bar and watch with us.
There you go. Here he is, Christy. Go for it.
Well, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm terrified to be talking to you.
Oh, really? Oh, so my reputation precedes me. Simon's far worse.
I am a huge fan.
Oh, thank you. Well, I didn't have plans, but I do now. So you'll have to give me some kind of address, and then I'd love to come and watch it with you lot. It'd be great.
That would be amazing. Do you want me to pass it on to the producers off air, or
that's right.
Should I tell you where we're watching it?
I wouldn't do it on air if I wouldn't do it on air if I were you.
I did not want to do it on air.
So no. If you just give it to one of the producers, and then he'll pass it on to my guy, and then somebody will email somebody, and that'll be that. And then I will grace you with my presence.
Fantastic. We look forward to seeing you and welcoming you to our bar.
How many are you in San Diego?
In San Diego, week in, week out, there are about 8 of us. That week, there will be a lot of extra people who turn up because there are always people who turn up for the big ones.
Okay.
I'm guessing we'll have a crowd of about 100 that day.
Okay, great. I'd love to. Yeah.
So you're going to do this, are you?
I'm going to do it. Yeah. I'll do it. Don't worry about that. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, no worries. I'll be there.
Brilliant.
You've made my week. I'm meeting my husband for his birthday for this. So
you stay in the line. We'll finish the call now, but you stay on the line. And you're going to speak to some of our people here. Christy, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much. Have a great day. Go back to bed.
I'm going back to bed now. Thank you.
I don't think she's going to sleep. That is for sure. I mean, do you love when things like that happen? Just like impromptu.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't have any plans of watching it. It's in America. It's weird because each state has a different carrier for whatever channel it's on. So I have a guy that's on tour with me, Phil Smith, who I've known for way over 30 years, who's one of his jobs on tour is to find out where these matches are on, and we go and watch them. And Yeah, the FA Cup final is going to be at 7 a.m, but the Champions League final will be at midday. But yeah, I'll go to that bar and watch it. Yeah.
Brilliant. You know how you absolutely love this club. Have you ever spoken to Khaldoon Al Mubarak about being part of it? I mean being part of it.
No, they don't need me. I remember once in the 90s when Franny Lee owned the club, he was trying to get Oasis to invest in the club, right? I remember going for a meeting with him at the training ground, and one of these the marketing people then had this idea that they had no official number one in the squad, right? And they were saying, so we got this idea, whereas we sign you and we have an official jersey with Gallagher on the back. And I was saying to Franny Lee, you do know that I will turn up for training and I will fight for my place. And he was going, it's just a marketing thing, son, it's a marketing thing. And no, I've never wanted to get involved in football. There was a time when Oasis were massive and City were at their lowest, and would you do something? I was like, you don't need people shouting at you on the terraces, Gallagher out and all that. You just want to be a fan. I just want to be a fan. You know what I mean? That's all I am, as a fan.
Yeah.
And when I go up there to City, they ask me to do various things for the social media and all that, and I don't mind that. But I'm just a fan. When I see the players and Guardiola, I'm just like, ooh.
Is it true? When you were a kid, you used to wash the car of the Man United players?
No, that was the other fella.
Who?
Liam.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Liam was a valeter for United's, which I always thought a bit of their DNA rubbed off on him somehow. Because he never goes to the City matches. I never see him there anyway.
Did you approve of him doing that at that time?
No, we mocked him relentlessly. I've never let him forget it. Yeah, that's where his love of Erik Cantona came from, which has always been a bit suspect for me.
So why was it City and not United for you?
Well, I was born in Longsight, and from my bedroom you could see the floodlights from Main Road, and it was that was the local team. And it's the one good thing that my dad ever did, was he took us to City first, because in where we come from, if you support one, you can't support the other, and that's it. You know, so we used to walk to Main Road, and we used to go and see the City players train at Platt Lane, and just my local team, and that was it. And
you remember the first game you ever went to?
I do remember it. I don't remember it vividly, but it was in 1974. It was against Newcastle. We were at home. We won 5-1, and I can remember Malcolm McDonald scoring the one off the underside of the bar. Yeah, but I remember I was fascinated with the Kipaks and the singing of the songs. And I often think that's where my anthemic kind of thing came from. And it's just it's funny. It's like, when it's your club, you can't really have a perspective on it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you miss those days? No.
No.
Pre the Mansour ownership.
I miss the days of being anonymous on the terraces and just being one of the fans. Now when I go to City now, I go in a box, and and it's all great in the chairman's lounge and all that. But when I go away, I'll go on the terraces just with the fans. My lads love that even more, because they love the swearing, and I'm like mad guys and something, And but City fans, I mean, I don't know. I don't get nostalgic for being in the third division. This is it. When they first took over, and I don't know if you remember, there was a guy who was fronting it, and he was giving it the big one on the telly, saying we're going to sign Messi and Ronaldo and all this. And I was thinking, is this just another comedic episode of Manchester City? But then when I met Khaldoon, it was like, these guys are serious, And then there was one afternoon, a team trotted out at the Etihad, and it had Vincent Kompany in it, David Silva, Yaya Toure, Sergio Aguero, Nigel de Jong, Gareth Barry, and was like, actually, this is on now, And ever since then, it's been, they made good on their promises, and they've been astonishing for the area and for the city, and.
And what about United this season? Under Ten Hag, what do you make of what the neighbours are doing across the city?
Look, nobody is under any illusions that when Pep leaves, that's it. You have to roll the dice again. If any Man United fan thought that United were going to carry on after Mr. Alex Ferguson, right, then they were living in cloud cuckoo land. It's cyclical. I remember growing up in the 70s and 80s where I could never, ever, ever believe that Liverpool would never win the league ever again. They were just so good. Anfield was such a place. John Barnes, Ian, all those great players. It was inconceivable that they would go 30 years without winning the league. Inconceivable. in the 90s, it's inconceivable with that team
Yeah.
that you would say they'd be 10 years without winning a league or whatever it is. But that's football. You know, Newcastle are coming. The most important person at our club is Pep Guardiola. Once he's had enough and he walks, then you roll the dice again. And, you know, well, it won't be as stable as this, I wouldn't have thought, unless they get it right again, which is, you know, what the law of averages and that. But United
You just feel blessed to have lived through the Pep era.
good Lord, yeah, absolutely. I feel,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. It's just been, you know, we all admire, as football supporters, we all admired him from afar anyway. That Barcelona team was something to behold.
Sure.
And when the news was coming that he was coming to our club, was like, oh my God, you know, this is going to be far out. And he's been everything that you hoped he would ever be, and more.
Do you have nightmares, Noel, that United might be the ones, if they win the FA Cup final, that stop the treble?
Well, winning the league took the pressure off. If I was to have to give up one of those trophies, it would be the FA Cup. As long as you win the Champions League, the treble, it's a rarity.
It slays that dragon, doesn't it? It takes away that argument that Man
Yeah.
City can't go to the top table because they haven't won the Champions League.
Yeah.
So if we have to give up the FA Cup to win the champion, but I want it all. And I want 4 in a row next season.
Yeah.
And I'd like to retain the Champions League should we win it. And I mean, this team is capable of anything. With that guy up front and the guy in the dugout, is capable of anything.
We'll talk about that in a second. Everybody is listening to this far and wide. Ian Ayre, remember Ian Ayre, managing director at Liverpool?
Indeed.
Ian's just got in touch. He's over in America, of course.
He wants
Tell
some
Noel,
free tickets.
I'll be watching him. I'm going to the gig in Franklin, Tennessee. But here's the thing. Is he prepared to wear a Liverpool shirt?
Me?
Yeah,
Yes.
Good Lord, what for?
Exactly.
Well, he would like you to.
Don't care what you like. I've got the guy that stands to my right, my bass player Russ, and my guitar tech, the guy that looks after my life on the road, are both staunch Liverpool fans. You couldn't be any more red. And when us and Liverpool were going for the title, it got tricky on tour. You know what I mean? We weren't allowed. We'd watch the games separately,
Right.
and not allowed to say anything afterwards for interband harmony.
Yeah.
And there was one night where they knocked us out of the Champions League. We were in Milan. We were watching it together, and bass player celebrated a bit too much for my liking. I was like, okay, I'll let him have his day, right? And then when they played Madrid in the final, and he was like, can we go on stage later that night? And I was like, no, we're going on stage. And he had to watch it
Early.
on an iPad while I watched them with him get battered by Madrid.
And you loved
And
it.
me and my mate Phil Smith in the dressing room afterwards, who's a City fan, were drinking champagne going, payback, eh? Rough, innit? Hey?
Listen, I'll pass this on to Ian Ayre. He's going to go to your gig anyway, and he's looking forward to it immensely. Noel's with us till 1.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.